All right, let's jump right into today's analysis. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating source document that lays out a highly structured pathway for students, specifically those from Vietnam, who are looking to secure educational opportunities and scholarships in the United States. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the whole studying abroad process, you're definitely not alone. But what's great about this text is that it maps the whole thing out clearly and logically. We're going to dive into the exact strategies used by one specific agency highlighted in our research. We'll see exactly how they bridge that massive gap between local potential and global academic success.
So what's the ultimate goal driving all of these academic journeys? It's figuring out exactly how to get scholarships in the US. I mean, it's a massive, massive objective, right? It isn't just about getting that acceptance letter, it's about actually securing the funding that makes the education possible in the first place. Our source material zooms in specifically on how this immense and, honestly, often intimidating goal is systematically tackled. The key takeaway here is that they frame the scholarship not as some random lottery ticket you just hope to win, but as a highly strategic outcome. It's something that can be actively engineered and carefully planned for over time.
To really understand how this is achieved, we need to look at the organization at the center of our source text, the Talented Minds Agency, or TMA for short. Now, TMA is described as a creative, educational consulting and support organization. And according to the document, they don't just drop in at the very end of a student's high school career to polish an essay. No, the text notes that they actually walk alongside students all the way from high school straight through to postgraduate levels. Their role is incredibly comprehensive. They're helping students discover their core strengths, pick the right majors, choose the right schools, and ultimately build a long-term roadmap for their careers.
Now, the absolute core philosophy driving everything TMA does boils down to one simple belief. Every single student has unique potential. The source text makes it crystal clear that this is the bedrock of their entire operation. They work on the premise that with the right, tailored direction, students aren't just capable of passing their classes. They're capable of completely exceeding expectations, getting into wildly prestigious universities, and winning highly competitive scholarships. So fundamentally, what we're looking at is a heavily strengths-based approach to international education.
So how do they put this belief into practice? Well, the source details this really interesting initiative called the Innovation Program. This program is specifically designed to develop a student's creative thinking and actually teach them how to apply technology to turn their raw ideas into practical, working solutions. And the overarching goal stated here is deeply impactful. It's all about creating real, tangible value for the community and for the broader world. This is huge because it signals to U.S. universities that these applicants aren't just good at taking standardized tests, they are innovators who are prepping to make a real difference in their fields.
Supporting this ambitious program are three strategic assets outlined in the text. First, you've got an experienced international team. Second, an incredibly robust partner network. And third, a highly personalized consulting method. Together, these three pillars are what allow TMA to provide guidance that is not only highly effective and practical, but also genuinely inspiring for the applicants themselves. It's this exact combination that's designed to really empower Vietnamese youth to step up and thrive in a very complex, globalized environment.
Okay, let's get into the methodology. Specifically, the four-step scholarship strategy. Which leads us to the million-dollar question. How exactly does TMA find these scholarships in the first place? For all the ambitious students and stressed-out parents researching this process, this is really the core of the matter. The source material outlines a highly targeted, relationship-based process. This is the complete opposite of just blasting out generic applications to 100 different schools and crossing your fingers. Instead, it approaches funding as a meticulous matchmaking process between what the institutions need and what the students are capable of. The text breaks this down into an exact four-step playbook. Step 1 is incredibly specific. They actively work with U.S. universities to identify ongoing research and development, or R&D, projects that are actively seeking master's or PhD students. So they find the demand first. Then, moving to Step 2, they meticulously arrange all the necessary logistics for the U.S. universities to actually interview these students. For Step 3, TMA actively supports the universities in selecting the absolute most outstanding candidates to award the funding to. And finally, Step 4. They guide the student in choosing the school that best matches their personal aspirations. It's beautifully framed as a two-way street, connecting academic funding with top-tier global talent.
I want to focus on steps 2 and 3 for just a moment, because this is really about bridging a massive gap. By handling the complex logistics of arranging all these interviews, TMA removes a huge barrier for both the student and the university. The text notes that they act as a trusted intermediary. They are actively assisting the U.S. universities in selecting the best candidates, ensuring that these institutions find the exact outstanding researchers they need to drive their R&D projects forward. They are essentially curating the talent pool to match the highly specific research demands of the schools.
And that brings us to the culmination of the methodology, finding the perfect fit. The source material emphasizes that the final step is helping the student choose the right school. It's a great reminder that, sure, getting multiple offers is fantastic, but true success is ultimately defined by alignment. The chosen university has to perfectly match the student's long-term aspirations, as well as their unique academic and personal capabilities. It's all about setting the student up to genuinely thrive in their new environment, not just to show up on day one.
Moving on to the support ecosystem, what happens beyond the acceptance letter?
TMA's support ecosystem covers those immediate, critical logistics first. We're talking step-by-step guidance on applying for a U.S. student visa and arranging accommodation over in the States. But here's the thing. They don't just stop at getting a student into the country with a bed to sleep in. They immediately pivot to the future. They offer career orientation coaching and directly connect students with internship opportunities. According to the source document, this illustrates a highly holistic, 360-degree approach to student care.
Highlighting the specific value of those last 2 points, the career coaching and the internship connections, really proves a commitment to a student's long-term success. Think about it. Almost anyone can help a student land in a new country. But actively coaching them on their career trajectory and leveraging partner networks to secure internships, that indicates a serious investment in what happens after graduation. The source emphasizes that they are actively building the student's resume and professional network while they study, which lays the groundwork for their eventual transition into the workforce.
Before we wrap up, it's actually really important to note this one specific detail from the source text. While the R&D scholarship process we were just talking about is specifically targeted at master's and PhD postgraduates, TMA makes it super clear that their comprehensive study abroad consulting package is available for all educational levels. This explicitly includes high school students. So this entire ecosystem, the discovering of strengths, the personalized consulting, the comprehensive support, all of it is available right at the very beginning of a student's academic journey.
Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. We've traced the entire structured pathway, right? From identifying unique potential through that rigorous 4-step R&D scholarship methodology, all the way to comprehensive career and lifestyle support in the U.S. The source material ends with an open invitation to contact them for more details, which honestly leaves us with one incredibly powerful question based on their whole philosophy. Are you ready to turn your unique potential into a global reality? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the mechanics of international education, and keep learning.